Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Batts, your instructor for this semester, and I think it's really important at the beginning of the semester to just kind of marinate and think about how you study, what has worked for you in the past, what you want to get out of this class, and are the methods that you're using for studying the best to support your learning? Now, some of you may have taken other 100 or 200 level classes and you were able to get by with the study skills that you have. Some of you have strong study skills and slash independent learning skills. And some of you may still be struggling and trying to grasp for what it means to study and how to be effective at studying. Some of you may think that you're spending hours studying, and then when you go to take a test or a quiz, you're totally clueless. And so I have 5 methods that are tried and true, proven over and over again to really help students learn the material independently, sink it in, and be able to know it well enough to take tests and quizzes slash assessments successfully. So here we go. First one I call read, summarize, repeat. You read a section or a paragraph. So this is going to depend on you knowing yourself and how your attention span is. Some people, after a paragraph, your mind starts thinking about, oh, what I have to do after I'm done, or what happened earlier today, or the dishes in the sink, or whatever, right? So if you have a shorter attention span, make it a shorter section of reading. Some of you might be able to read an entire section of the book, right? Because the chapters are kind of divided into sections. Some of you might be able to read a whole section of the book, or maybe you want it to divide it into columns or pages. Either way, you're going to read a segment, summarize it in as brief as you can. So you want to do this after you're done reading. You read and you're paying attention to your reading so well that when you're done, you can kind of regurgitate and reframe that information into a summary. The summary should be short, short, short. Okay. If you're reading one paragraph, your summary should be one sentence. If you're reading 5 paragraphs, your summary might be 5 sentences. So a good rule of thumb is about 1 sentence per paragraph for your summaries. Some of you may need to do more, that's fine. But the idea is you're going to read, summarize, and repeat. Next, it's a famous strategy used by instructors, teachers everywhere. It's called SQ3R. Basically what it is, before you sit down to read a section of your book, you're going to flip through it and see what it's about. Survey. You survey your section, and as you're surveying, you take the headings and you frame the headings as questions. So for example, maybe the heading is mitochondria, or maybe the heading is parts of a cell, right? And so you're going to turn that into a question. A question might be, what is a mitochondria? Or what are the parts of a cell, right? And so when you're reading, you're really just reading to answer the questions that you asked. You're going to create questions for every single heading for whatever chapter or segment you're trying to read. And then when you read, really you're just looking for the answers. Okay, so that's one hugely awesome method of studying. It's a great method. Now, all of these methods, your read, summarize, repeat, your SQ3R, where you're creating questions and answering them, they're good, but they're only as good as how much you use them. The third method of studying is to rewrite. After you have your summaries, after you have your answers and your questions, go back the next day or 2 days later and rewrite them. There's been some scientific studies about the difference between typing and writing, and the act of writing, this mechanical processing where your brain has to actually think about how your hand muscles are forming the letters, right? And then you have to think about how the words are spelled, and you have to kind of read the words in your mind before your brain can process how to spell them, right? There's a whole psychology here. It's actually way more effective at learning than typing is. So if you're able to write by hand, I suggest doing that over typing, being that everything's, virtual now, at least for the time being. Typing is just as effective for what we're trying to do, because all your assessments are going to be in the computer. But when we return back to face-to-face, actually handwriting things may be a little bit more efficient for you. So rewriting. Fourth suggestion for studying is use your textbooks end of section, end of chapter review questions. The publisher put them in there for a reason. They're important. And to be honest with you, and I've said this before in many of my classes, there's only so many questions an instructor can come up with that are about a mitochondria or the parts of a cell, right? So the chances are, if you go through and you quiz yourself in the book, not just on the textbook website, but in the actual book itself, and you look at those end of section and end of chapter questions, the questions your instructors are going to ask you aren't going to be far from that, because it is what it is, right? There's only so many questions we can come up with based on the same exact material. Last, teach and lecture yourself. So you read a little section and now you're going to think, okay, how would I teach this? Maybe you want to go so far as to create your own PowerPoint presentation. Maybe you want to record yourself lecturing. I've had students do this in the past and they rave about it. So you take your notes or whatever you've come up with and you deliver them as if you're delivering a lecture to people. And of course, any good lecturer / professor knows you're not just reading off of a slide. You're not reading off of your notes. You have to know it well enough to explain it and give examples. Maybe you're lecturing to your coffee mug. Maybe you're lecturing to a plant. Maybe you're lecturing to a picture of a horse, right? Whatever you're lecturing to, it doesn't matter. The process of lecturing and speaking will help you learn the material. So those are my 5 quick study skills / independent learning skills to help you be successful this semester and beyond. I want to see all of you guys do well on your assessments. I want to see you do well in this class and others, and going forward as you reach for your career goals. Have a fabulous day. Let me know what strategies work best for you, which ones of these you've tried and which ones you like, which ones you're going to keep. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.